Hello guys, this is Becca, and these are pages that I did. I colored them out of the Usborne Color by Number book, and naturally it doesn't look really good because it's like a color by number, and it's just, it's not like it's more like kids coloring. But what I'm doing today is comparing some color pencils to give you my thoughts on them. And so this whole page over here, I was pretty much through with this page when I thought about doing this. So this whole page here, I colored using the Colorit coloring pencils, however you want to say it. Comes in this case, and it has all of these different colors. And so I colored this whole page with these color pencils. As you can see, they're pretty much the same on both pages. The only thing is, they didn't have the exact same colors. Like the darker green, number 2, the darker green is more of a hunter green over here than over here. I'll tell you what these are in a bit. But this whole page is with the Colorit color pencils. And this here is one of the Colorit color pencils. And the end of it, is closed in like this. It's not just an open end. And so this here is Bubble Pink. And I left a little space here so I could color it. And I like the way it glides over the paper. It feels smooth. The only problem I have really with these color pencils, I don't know if it's just this batch or if every one of them's like this, but they're kind of soft. I mean, they're wood, yeah, but they're kind of like a soft wood. And the lead, I guess you would call it lead. I'm not sure if that's what you call it in a color pencil, or if you just call it the color, whatever the color is. When you go to sharpen it, so after you color a while, it colors down, and you have to resharpen it. And when you sharpen it, if you're not really careful, I mean, you can't make a point with it, because you can't sharpen that far with it, because once you get it to this point like this, if you keep trying to sharpen it, the lead breaks. I'm going to call it lead for a lack of knowledge of what you actually call it, but it breaks and comes out, and then you have to re-sharpen it to get the, the color exposed again. It's wasteful to me. Because every time, just about every time, unless I'm just real slow and only do a couple of turns on it, the lead breaks. And so to me, that's wasteful. And they do cost more than just regular color pencils. But as far as the colors and the way, the gliding of the color over the paper and everything, it's nice. It's smooth. It's easy on the hand. I like the colors, but that's the only thing I dislike about the Colorit, is they break really easy. So then, while I was coloring this, is when it came to mind to compare the two, because I kept having trouble. Like I said, every time I needed to sharpen one, it would break. And so I pulled out my plain old Crayola color pencils. The only thing is I apparently didn't buy a big large pack, and they don't have a big variety. I don't have a big variety of different colors. I must have only purchased a 12 pack. This here is magenta. It looks like I do have doubles of each color, so apparently I've bought two separate colors, two separate times of color pencils, because like I said, I don't have a variety of colors, but I have two of just about every color. Now this here is the Colorit pencil sharpener. So you would think it would work fine with this, with the Colorit pencils, and not break them. But it doesn't. So I'm just going to go and I've already, what am I trying to say? Sharpened one of these pencils. Just the regular Crayola color pencils. I've already sharpened a couple of them. And in here, it doesn't break them. They are a harder wood, and so I left a space here with number 5. I'm doing number 5 on each one, which was 5 is pink, and so I left 2 fish here to color. I love the way the Crayolas glide across the page. Of course, this is magenta and not magenta, however you say that, and not actual pink. And I don't know if you can get them in more variety of color than what I have. But as far as when you sharpen them, they don't break easy. I mean, I'm sure you could break them if you tried hard enough and you know, you sharpened long enough. But it's nothing compared to when I try to sharpen one of the Colorits. And like I said, I can sharpen just 2 or 3 rounds with this, with the Colorit, and it will re-break the lead. This one, I can sharpen it 3 or 4 or 5 rounds and it don't break. So this section here, not this, all of this, except for what I have covered up, all of this here is colored with just the regular Crayola color pencils. But now, down here, these 3 turtles, the yellow part here, these pink fish, this blue part here, all of that is colored with Artist Loft watercolor pencils. Now, as you see, I haven't used any water on them. I just colored with them as color pencils. I left a spot here. These have like the little grooves in them like a pencil does, for you to hold it and it not roll so much in your hand. I haven't tried sharpening these lately, but they feel just like the Crayola. It's more wood filling. And you see how many rounds I went with it and it didn't break. The color it would have broken by that point. And I'm just coloring, using them just as color pencils. They feel more, I guess because they are color pencils, they feel more, what word do I want to use there? Rubbery, or I'm not sure what word to use. They don't glide like the Crayolas do. But as far as coloring with them, they're fine. So my comparisons, now I have not tried the, do you call it Prisma color pencils? I've heard those are the best, and I really would love to get some of those just to try them out, to you know, see how they feel, how they look, how they compare with these here. But if I had to pick from these 3 brands, the Colorit, the regular Crayola, and the Artist Loft watercolor. My first pick would be the Crayola. My second pick would be the Artist Loft, and then the Colorit. And the only reason, like I said, the only reason that I would not like the Colorit is because they break so easy when you're sharpening them. And to me, for the price you have to pay for them, that's wasteful. I mean, it's wasteful anyway, but, you know, if you pay a higher price for a color pencil, you don't want to have to be so careful when you're sharpening it. And, you know, just 2 or 3 rounds and it breaks and wastes, you know, it wastes the color. Because once that little piece breaks, you can't use it. You have to take it out and resharpen. And that's the only reason that I wouldn't use, you know, I wouldn't pick the Colorit. But I was just doing this as a comparison. Now, as you see, this bottom part here, I did with the watercolor pencils. And I used them just as as color pencils. I didn't use them at that point as watercolor pencils. In other words, I didn't add water to them. So now I have just my water brush here. And I am going to go over the section that I use the watercolor pencils with. Now, I've got quite a bit of water on my brush right now. So that's why I'm kind of just hitting and missing. I'm going to come back and spread the water. I didn't want to get too much water on my paper. And we're just going to spread this around and see if we like it better as color pencil or as watercolor. And the only thing, you know, is you do have to be careful if you're not using watercolor paper to color on. You do have to be careful with the amount of water you get on the paper. And all this does is just, it kind of blends and spreads, kind of like gets the lines out of the color. You know, when you've colored, sometimes you can see lines. Like right here, it didn't blend it yet. I was kind of letting the water set. It still ain't quite blending it good enough. Matter of fact, I may have, no I didn't. Started to say I may have started out using the other color pencils on that, but I didn't. I remember now. Now, I do like the look, but like I said, it's leaking through. You have to be careful and not put too much of the water. That's why I didn't just dip a brush in water, you know, and use it. I was trying to use my water brush here, and hopefully it didn't have as much water on it as if I was to have dipped a paintbrush in water. But when you spread the watercolor pencils, it changes the look from just a pencil color to more like you've painted it. Okay, let me keep doing the darker colors before I do that yellow. Now, I like the watercolor pencils just used as color pencils. But I also like it as watercolor. If I want something watercolored, you know, if I want it to look like I've painted it instead of just colored it. Now guys, this video is not sponsored. No one has sponsored me to do this video. This is just simply my opinion. And I thought about doing it because of the trouble I was having every time that I sharpened the Colorit color pencils. And so I thought I would just do a comparison video showing as far as the look, you know, that you get from each of the color pencils. They pretty much all look the same. The only reason the watercolor is going to be different is because I've added the water to it. And it's going to spread it around like it's a paint instead of a color pencil. It's also, using the watercolor pencils, you can kind of spread your color out. Like if you have a place that's a little bit lighter than the other, you can kind of move that color around to where you want it. Blend it out a little more. So if that's something, you know, that you have been wondering about, or maybe you never even thought of, but now that you've seen this video, maybe you would like to get you some watercolor pencils and a watercolor brush. I'm going to show you in just a minute when I get this done. I'm going to show you how it does with the water on top of just the regular color pencil. We'll do it on both of the other type color pencils and see what it looks like, see if it does anything. But I don't know if you really can tell on camera. You may not be close enough to really see. But it definitely spreads out the color when you get the water on it. And like I said, you can move it around to where you need it more. I think this is going to be the last turtle. Then we're going to do this blue part here. And over here. Oh, I already did that, didn't I? I did. I already did that. Alright, now we're going to do the yellow part. Let me make sure I don't have no blue on my brush or green. Get me a little bit more water in my little canal on my brush. Oops, too much. Having to be careful now. Just kind of put water places until I get most of the water off the brush, and then I'll come back and spread it out. That's what happens when you first put the water inside this water brush. Alright, let's see if we can spread this around now, and that won't be too much. But I really like doing it with the water brush because you don't have to keep sticking the brush in a cup of water. I like using the water brush. Sorry guys, I really don't know what to say. I'm not a big talker. And I really have to rack my brain when I'm doing a video like this. To, know what to say, to keep talking where it won't be just silent. Because I don't have nobody talking back to me for me to answer questions or, comment on what they said or anything like that. So it makes it hard for me to come up with thoughts of what to talk about. after I've said all I know to say about the product or about what I'm doing, you know, the project or whatever. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers the watercolor type colors here. This one may have been watercolor. Let's see if it is. I'm thinking it isn't. Because it's not spreading very. You see how those lines are staying in? Now this that I'm doing here is not the watercolor pencils. And like I said, I'll take you off of camera, off the tripod in a minute and let you see a close-up. But if you can see, the lines are still staying there. Let's go on up here where I know that it's not the watercolor pencils. Nope. It's not moving the color at all. Nope. Let me see if I'm getting, yes, I'm getting water on it. But it's not moving the color. Okay, this is with the watercolor pencils. This up here is with the Crayola color pencils. Now let's see how it does on the Colorit color pencils. Alright, how about we do, let's do the dark green here on this turtle. Nope. It doesn't even move this color on the Colorit as much as it did over here. It kind of moved just a tad. I mean, not enough to take the lines out of it, but it kind of blended the colors, you know, kind of made the lines more subtle. How you say that? Subtle. Over here, it's not even moving the color that much. It just looks, it don't even look like you've added water to it, except for that you can see the shiny water. So that's the difference, guys, in these three brands. You definitely can't move the color on the Colorit. On the Crayolas, it kind of makes the lines more subtle, where they don't look as, you know, streaky lines, but it doesn't look watercolor either. But then down here on the bottom, when you use the watercolor pencils, it definitely looks watercolored, which I love. And and then that's the three brands. And like I said, as far as the way each one of these feels as you're coloring, as far as the boldness and the goodness, you know, the look of the color, each one are great. The only problem, okay, the Artist Loft watercolor, I love it. Either way, I can use it as a color pencil or as watercolor, and I love it either way. The Crayola, just the regular Crayola color pencils, I love them as a color pencil. I love the way they slide, they glide. I love the way they don't break when you sharpen them. I pretty much love them, everything about them, as just a color pencil. The Colorit pencil brand, I love everything about it except for that it breaks so easy when you're sharpening it. So, in my opinion, when I have to go to buy some more, which I have quite a few, you know, it'll be a while, and probably the next color pencils, I may pretty shortly get some, just because I would like to try the Prisma color pencils to compare them to these to see if I like them better, if I feel like they're better quality, that they do better. If they compare about the same as the Crayola, then I'll just stick with Crayola because it's cheaper. But now, I would buy the Artist Loft watercolor again to have as watercolor pencils. I would definitely buy the Crayola color pencil again to have just as the color pencil. I don't think I would buy the Colorit again once these are gone. I don't think I will buy Colorit again because of the fact that when you sharpen them, they break the tip off and then you have to resharpen it, and that's wasteful. So I don't think I would ever buy Colorit again, just for that particular reason. As far as the way they color, the way they handle, everything like that, I love them, but I do not like that they break so easy. These that are so short already, like this one, I finally put it up. I was sharpening it, and every time I sharpened it, it would break again. And I hope you're seeing it. It would break again every time I sharpened it. And I finally just put it up and quit. But if you'll look through my colors here, this one, all of these, the ones that are the shortest, my black one, because I was using it a lot at the time. And look how short it is compared to the others. But it's not because I used so much of it. It's, you know, I mean, was using it, you know, quite a bit, but not enough to accommodate for it being that short. But the reason it's that short is because every time I went to sharpen it, it would break. Now this one I used down, and before I use it again, I'm going to have to sharpen it. And you cannot get a good point on it without it breaking. Okay? You see how that is now? Let me see. There you go. That's pretty much as sharp as you're going to be able to get it. And it doesn't break every time. But if you try to get a sharp... Now, see there? I went 3 more turns. You see that? I wasn't shoving it hard in there. I just went 3 more turns to try to get a little bit sharper end on the end of it. And look what it did. Look what it did. Am I in camera? It broke the tip off. And that's the way it does with every one. Let me empty this. Now I have sharpened. I have used other pencil sharpeners to see if it was the pencil sharpener doing it. It breaks anyway. I have sharpened the Crayola in this one, and it lets it get a good point on it without breaking it. It's the pencil itself, the reason it breaks. Now see, I didn't even, that right there, guys, that's what's aggravating. I had a flat end. I wanted a little point. I wasn't even going to try to get it a sharp point. I just wanted it to not be flat. And I went 2 more rounds and it broke the tip off. 2 more rounds broke the tip off. And you have to just keep doing it and trying to be careful to get it where it's sharp enough, if you can. The end of that's stuck in there, not letting it go down any. Let me see if I can get it out. Well, I don't don't have nothing sharp enough to reach in there and get it out.
Are you doing a video?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to patch me when we get there.
Okay. Okay, it looks like it's out. Let me try this again. You know, if you just hold your pencil, if you don't shove it hard, it won't even cut it. Now, I'm not going to try to get it any sharper than that, and that's really aggravating when you can't get it sharper than that to color with, because if I keep going, it's going to break the pencil. Y'all seen how it did. So that's why I don't like the Colorit color pencils. But that's the only reason I don't like them. As far as the way they color, the way they feel fine. It's just you can't sharpen them without them breaking. And then you end up with little bitty sharp pencils, and you haven't used very much of them. You've wasted them by them breaking. So that is my comparison. I couldn't get that word out. My comparison to Colorit, Crayola, and Artist Loft. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this might have helped you a little bit. Like I said, this video is not sponsored. I just wanted to tell you my opinion of these 3 different products and what I liked best of each one. Alright, I will talk with you later. Bye.